Yeah,
Hello.
don't record it yet.
Yeah, it's an automated recording, Nico. I will see if I can stop the recording.
Ah,
Oh,
okay.
okay.
Okay. Hello, everybody. I think we are shortly starting the webinar presentation, and I am starting to share my screen. Please do let me know once you guys are able to see the screen.
Yeah, I can see the screen.
Okay. So I think Ruchika, in the interest of time, let's start. And a
Yeah,
few.
sure.
All right. Go ahead.
So, hello everyone. We are the team 13 for the webinar, and we are going to present our presentation on the topic mastering the negotiation skills so that they could help you in career growth. So, next slide, please. I would like to start with the with a quote for mentioned by Chester Carris, and he's known as the master of negotiation. So he said that in business, as in life, you don't get what you deserve. What you, but what you get is what you negotiate. After that, we would know that what are negotiation skills exactly. So next. So basically, negotiation is a process where two or more parties communicate to reach an agreement that benefits all involved. And according to me, if I say it is a win-win position for everyone, so it's a process of discussion where two or more parties try to reach a mutually beneficial agreement. Next, then what is the relevance here? So, if we relate it to our work life, then there are five relative notions. That is, first is that we get to secure a better compensation. So it could help us with getting more salary and benefits. Gaurav, next, please. Yeah. So as I already told you about securing better compensation, and then the second one is advancing in the workplace. So it is often seen that people who negotiate better tend to get more promotions and a better position in their workplace. And then you also get to have a good work life balance, because if you are able to negotiate better, then you are able to maintain a balance. You get to have flexible work hours and remote work or additional leaves if you want. And the fourth one is conflict resolution, which has a deep impact in your work life, because you have to work with with a diverse range of colleagues. So it actually strengthens your relationship by, because if you are able to negotiate better, there will be less disagreements. And the fifth one is the professional networking. So it helps you build a strong connections, and in that way you are able to get better opportunities in your career. uh,
Sure. So let me take it from here, Ruchika. So what my colleague basically described was essentially the basics of negotiation, why they are relevant, how they are relevant, and what can we actually do about it. Now let's get into a bit of details. We are not going to talk about each and every word that is there on the slide, but essentially to tell you that one of the most basic, and we could even classify is at the genetic level, that personality is something which influence the negotiation style. How you have been brought up, what is your inherent internal personality, reflect a lot on your negotiation style. There are various dimension of personality as defined by different psychologists. We would want to capture a few of them here: the extroverts versus the introverts, The agreeableness versus the disagreeableness, which means about you are agreeing to everything that somebody is saying so that you can move along your work. The other one, which is always saying no to everything unless and until all the opportunities and dimensions have been explored. The next one would be neuroticism versus emotional stability. People who are very uh, 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 have a personality to be very emotionally stable. They are always keeping quite calm while negotiating. The other one who are getting ticked off by smallest of changes in the terms. Let's say you say instead of 2 months, you might have to work for 2.5 months. No, they just get ticked off with that. Then the next two are openness to experience. They're ready to take the fate and to understand that how exactly we can do this. So in summary, the personality influences the choice of negotiation tactics. How exactly are you going to approach the party that you are going to do that? And you can use either collaboration, competition, or accommodation in order to reach to the mutually assured benefits. When we talk about the leveraging of personality for effective negotiation, we will just discuss a couple of them very quickly. Is when you have an extrovert personality, you and you're dealing with a person who has got an extrovert personality, you would have to allow them to express themselves because they are very expressive. They want to speak out whatever is there on their mind. And the key negotiation is to have things changing. So we call it dynamic and engaging so that they are not getting bored and they are not just zoning out of the negotiation. Whereas completely opposite is the introvert person who would need time to process everything that is being said and encourage them to share their thoughts. That way you will be able to engage with these personality. When you talk about couple of more is agreeable versus disagreeable, I've already defined them. But in the agreeable thing, we need with the agreeable personality, we need to ensure that they feel valued and heard, their points are well taken, and we build a collaborative relationship with them. On the disagreeable people, we need to be very logical. So your if any one of you have taken the insights training in the past, but if not, I will very quickly in 10 seconds explain. It's a personality training which is divided into red, blue, yellow, and green color. So with the disagreeable people, you need to choose your red color, which means you need to be a more logical, you need to be argumentative, and you need to establish the fact and discuss and negotiate with them. The emotional intelligence with this kind helps a lot when you have to adjust the emotional tactics in the real time. So that's what is one of the key personality traits that is required. Moving a bit further, are negotiation skills only needed for Salesforce? Because negotiation means sales, right? You're selling something. That's why you need the negotiation. Of course, you need negotiation for sales. But beyond that, you also need negotiation beyond that. In this particular slide, we were talking about a few scenarios where negotiations are required outside of sales scenarios. For example, salary negotiations, already discussed by Ruchika. The real estate deal that you would want to crack. With your family, you need to discuss on something. There are multiple scenarios. If we go into the details, the whole time would be spent on that. The relationships, even personal relationships, do require negotiations. A few more are work and stakeholder management, very important from a work perspective, so that you are not loaded with all the work yourself. Everyday purchases that you do in the markets, community, when you're engaging with the community and making decisions, and personal growth, of course. So these are some of the key areas where negotiations are really very helpful for your personal growth as well. Nico, or who is taking
Yes,
this?
me. Yes, thank you, Gaurav. So what are the focus areas for job seekers? Firstly, research. It's important to do your research on the company and your own market value so that you can negotiate offers and ensure you receive what you deserve. It also helps you to understand the industry standards, allowing you to negotiate more efficiently. Secondly, it's confidence. It's essential to be confident about your own skills, abilities, knowledge, and the value you can bring to the table. Um, Demonstrating confidence helps to build trust and convinces the other party of your worth. Thirdly, it's respect. It's good to remember that the employer is also looking for the best outcome for their organization. So that's why it's good to not be too pushy. Being respectful not only shows professionalism, but also can create positive rapport and maintain a mutually beneficial negotiation environment. And lastly, it's compromise. Compromises aren't uncommon in negotiations, so uh, you should be open to finding common ground by identifying areas where you can be flexible. This, yeah, then what are the focus areas for managers? Emotional intelligence. As you all know, humans are emotional beings, and our emotions play a big part in how we act, communicate, and react. Emotional intelligence is the ability to manage and identify your own emotions and the emotions of other people. This is an essential skill in negotiations as it helps you to stay calm and focused on the core issues and allows you to make decisions in a non-stressful manner. Effective communication. Without communication, conveying messages is hard, let alone being effective. Effective communication contains also listening, understanding, and conveying messages clearly and concisely. These help you to avoid misunderstandings and pursue your side's goals, needs, and wants more efficiently. Planning. To determine what you want and how the terms will be fulfilled, you need planning. It's recommended to consider before the negotiation what the best possible outcome is, your least acceptable offer, and what you will do if reaching an agreement isn't possible. This is also why backup plans are good to have. And lastly, adaptability. Each negotiation is unique and situations can change rapidly. This means that an involved party may change their demands or offers unexpectedly. That's why it is also important to be able to adapt to changes and new information. How can negotiation help to drive career growth? First, advocating. Negotiation allows you to advocate for your value, skills, knowledge, and contributions. When communicated effectively, you can ensure fair compensation and recognition for your work. Opportunities. Through negotiation, you can secure roles or projects that align better with your career goals. For example, a more challenging responsibility that can help you gain new skills and exposure to different aspects of the business. Relationships. Negotiation can help you build stronger relationships since it promotes mutual respect and understanding. Networking. It also involves interacting with people at different positions within or outside your organization. And lastly, development. Negotiation helps to improve your skills and knowledge. It's an active learning process since negotiation is involved and used in many different situations, even in everyday life. Thank you.
Okay.
So now I'll discuss about how can someone improve their negotiation skills. Uh, So the first step is that Nico already told you about, is preparation and research. So if you know that what you are going to talk about, then obviously you are going to negotiate better. So here you need to understand the industry standards and the company's policies and your market value, because you are working for a business, so you need to know about the business. Next one is clear communication. So, in a communication where there is clarity and it is concise, so that you don't confuse the other party and you are persuasive about what you actually are expecting from the negotiation, it's going to be a better deal. The third step is active listening. So you need to also understand the other party's perspective, because negotiation is a two-way conversation. So you need to listen to the other party's needs and concerns, and you need to understand their perspective so that you can come on a common ground and propose solutions that will work for both of you. That means again a win-win situation. And the fourth step is building rapport. If the other person respects you and you are able to build that and trust among them and faith for yourself, then obviously there is going to be a positive attitude towards you and the points you put in your negotiation and the conversation, and a problem solving mindset would be there. So the next step is problem solving approach. Here you do not need to get confused or do something, but you again, I would say that it is rather giving some win-win solutions, so that you need so that even your perspective is heard, and the other parties also takes it as okay, my perspective is also being listened to, and you come on a common ground. So the next point is closing the deal. Here, so it is the last part of the negotiation where the both sides have agreed, and after that you need to summarize the key points to ensure that it is clear and nothing is misunderstood by either of the parties. Now we will discuss about the negotiation techniques for career growth. So the first one is the most prime word, BATNA. That means best alternative to a negotiated agreement. So it is about knowing your fallback plan, because it is about, if I'm not able to get this, at least I should get a bare minimum of this from my side of deals. So you should always have a fallback plan, because it's not always possible that whatever you are saying the other party is going to accept. The other techniques are anchoring. So you have to set the first offer strategically. Uh, it is related to the research. And the next one is that silence. You need to use silence as a tool, because if there are certain pauses, then you are encouraging a conversation and letting the other party also think that about your points, so it helps to have a better negotiation. And then the next one is framing. So you need to present your case positively. The way you frame your argument can impact how the other person perceives it. And the next one is emotional intelligence, as Nico already told you about. So it is about staying calm and reading the room, because if you have a good amount of EQ, then you are able to come out of any situation very nicely and very quickly also. Now my teammate Gloria will continue.
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm Gloria, and I'm taking you through the case study or real life examples of negotiation. So, for the first case study, we are looking at a software engineer at a tech firm received a job offer but decided to stay silent after hearing the initial salary offer instead of accepting it immediately. The recruiter, uncomfortable with the silence, increased the offer by 10% without any pushback. So, from what we've heard from Ruchika, can someone tell me what lesson we can learn from this scenario? You can type in the chat box or You can unmute yourself to answer. Hello, anyone?
If you want me to answer, Gloria, I think it's silence as a tool.
Okay, sure. So from this, we can see that you can use silence as a tool in your negotiation skills. So the next one will be a marketing professional was offered $60K, but had done research on industry salaries and knew that the average was $70,000. Instead of accepting, they presented data and politely counted. The company agreed to 72,000 plus a signing bonus. So I would want another person to give an answer for this. What can we learn from this negotiation?
I think people are typing on the chat. Unfortunately, I'm unable to go there, so somebody can read them all out.
Oh, okay, I see. I think Kimberly said sometimes silence can be misinterpreted. And then she also commented framing. And then Shiraz also said negotiating backed by facts versus emotion leads to success. Yes, that's right. So it is necessary to negotiate with facts and not just your emotions. So let's look at the third case study. An employee worked at a company for 5 years and was informally asked to take on a managerial role but never discussed salary. When the offer came, it was only a slight increase from their current pay. A new hire in the same role was earning 20% more because they negotiated. What can we learn from this scenario? Do we have any more messages?
No.
Angela, do you want to say something? Okay, so you are the biggest advocate. Wow, Kimberly, that's good. That's great. So I think we can also add that you can always negotiate, whether it's a new job or it is just a promotion. Don't be afraid to negotiate. So that being said, let's move on to common mistakes people make in negotiation.
I
So
think
mine would
the
be more.
son has one more point, and it's
He said,
interesting. Shiraz has one more point, and it's very interesting.
oh yeah.
Its older employee felt that he or she was experienced enough that he or she didn't need to negotiate and company would do it for him or her. So the company is
Yes.
supporting them.
That is also a good point to make. So that was more like an assumption on the part of the employee, but then they didn't get what they expected they would get. So you could have just negotiated in that scenario, right? Okay, so let's move on to the common mistakes in negotiation. So we are still looking at case studies. Yeah. So the first scenario we have here, a candidate is so excited to get a job offer that they say yes right away. Later, they realize they could have gotten more. So, what do you think can happen here? Could they have done something better?
Research.
I think Shiraz is saying something in the chat box. He says he's asking Kimberly a question. Sorry, I don't know if Shiraz is female or male. I'm so sorry for that. Does explicitly stating your worth in same company help you or make it clear? Or make it clear company is not interested to pay you more. I think Kimberly, if you can answer that for him, that would be great.
I'm sorry to interrupt here, Gloria, but we are running out of time as well.
Yes, that time, sorry. So from the previous scenario I mentioned, I think employees often expect negotiations, don't leave money on the table. Sorry, employers expect negotiations. So you are always allowed to negotiate and then yeah. So with the second scenario, Instead of confidently asking for more, an employee rambles about personal expenses, making the conversation uncomfortable. So I think in this scenario, we can learn that you keep your ask simple and then you back it by market research. We saw this in the previous case studies I gave earlier. So let's move on to a third scenario. A nervous employee fumbles during a salary negotiation and ends up saying, "Whatever works for you," which results in no raise. In this scenario, we can also see that maybe you practice before you go for an interview or you go to a negotiation. So practicing with a friend or a mentor can be very good for you, and then it will help boost your confidence. If there are any more chats in the chat box. Oh no. Okay, so let's move on. So implications of not negotiation for your job, including salary. Yeah, we have another case. A new graduate accepts a 50K offer without negotiating. If they had negotiated for $55,000, that extra $5,000 per year, compounded with raises and bonuses, could amount to over $500,000 in lost earnings over a 40-year career. So here we see that small increases early in your career have a huge long-term impact. Don't be afraid to negotiate. They could have easily saved up that money for maybe an insurance or something. So let's look at the second case. An employee who never negotiates is seen as someone who just takes whatever they get. Over time, they are passed over for leadership roles because they don't advocate for themselves. So here I think we can learn that negotiating is about value, not just money. Negotiating can help you build your credibility. So that is all I have for you today. If there are any more chats.
Thank you, Gloria. So with that, I think we are well within time, and I would like to close this session with a couple of small points. Is that you need to identify the personality of your negotiating partner and deploy appropriate strategy. I think we have gone on a very high level across a number of strategies: framing, anchoring, silence, emotional intelligence, market research, to ensure that you have got all the tools at your fingertips. You need to negotiate hard. Personality also plays a role. So please do deploy all these strategies. And secondly, partner. We did not have much time, but partner is one of the most critical and important tool because it has something for everybody. Everybody has got a fallback plan, whether it's a company, employee, manager, new hire, whatever is the rule. So you should always come up with with a better alternative or a backup alternative to what is the salary negotiation all about, and that would help you to definitely get the best out of the negotiated terms between the partners. So with that, I would like to thank everybody for joining, and if you have any questions, unfortunately we only have got 4 minutes, but please feel free to ask any questions. Yeah. If there is something on the chat, please do read them aloud. We have around 4 minutes. And in the meanwhile, I would request everybody to scan this and take a very small 1 question, 2 question quiz for us. That would also help us to rate this webinar for us. So if you're willing, please do scan this and give us your feedback. So any questions?
So Shiraz says that he loves Gaurav's background wallpaper. Gaurav, you can say thanks for that.
Thank you.
And great presentation topic, as it is one of the most underrated themes during job hunting process with limited or reliable info. Thank you, Shiraz, from everyone.
Thank you. Are we done with everything? Rishika.
Yep.
Yeah, we are
Oh,
done.
okay. So thanks everyone for joining. We really appreciate the interaction, and then we
Yeah,
learned some good things today.
Angela
Thank
says
you,
thank you
Kimberly,
for the
for sharing.
presentation.
Thank you everyone for joining.
Yeah, it was great talking to you guys, and it was a great interactive session. So thank you all for being here. As Gloria already greeted you, and uh, keep negotiating well. I would like to say, and Aisha says nice pronunciation. Thank you, Aisha.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you, everyone.
thank you, Aisha. Thank you, Angela.
Thank
Shiraz,
you.
Kimberly. Thank you all.
Bye.
So we'll be taking your leave now. Bye. Thank you, guys.
Okay, bye.